All right, we still got people filtering in, but we're going to get started anyway because we've been on time in this track all day long, and we're not ending that habit now. So, thank you. I warned them. I've been bulldogging people all day, and even with the hillbilly aspect, I'm still not daunted. So, all right. So, a couple housekeeping things really quick. One, please don't block the fire exits. Either you're in the room or you're out of the room, not in between. It's that simple. Second, cell phones. We got all the way to 3:42 today before someone's cell phone rang in this room, so I'm going to give you the same spiel I gave everybody else. I wore boots today for a reason. Don't make me use them. Silence the damn cell phones. Good enough? Cool. All right, so we are talking pen testing, but we are not talking your usual stories of pen testing. We are talking pen testing fails. So I'm looking forward to this. You guys made it all the way to the end of the day. The parties start right after we're done here. So I'm going to get the heck out of the way and give you guys Adam Compton.
Thank you. Have a good day. No. Let me just pull this up a little bit. How's that? Can everybody hear me? All right. As I was introduced there, I am Adam Compton. Today we're going to be talking about pen test fails. It's a little bit of a different topic. You typically at conferences or what have you, you hear people talk about all the awesome things they've done, all the great new tools they've created, all the new exploits that they've developed. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the times during a pen tester's career that things don't go right, and it's their fault. I've always heard, not always, I hear a lot of pen testers complain that, the customer didn't get me the information, the customer didn't do this. It's not always the customer's fault. Sometimes we're just idiots and we make bad choices and make bad decisions. So we're going to be talking about a few of those today. From my own career, from colleagues of mine, friends of mine, sharing those stories with me. All the information is accurate, with the exception of company names, things of that. If I happen to mention any, it'll probably be something like Acme or something like that. It's just generic, just to protect the guilty and the innocent alike. So let's go ahead and get started here. Who am I? My name is Adam Compton. I've been a pen tester more or less for about 2 decades now. Been a father for about 9 years, brother, son, all that stuff. I started out my career as a pen tester / programmer. Over the course of it, I've also done some research, done various other aspects of InfoSec as well. Pretty much every aspect of pen testing or what have you, whether it's web apps, stuff like that. It's all been fun. I always love pen testing internal networks the most. It's just more entertaining to me. And yes, I am a hillbilly from Eastern Kentucky, and no, this isn't just for show. These are actually ones I wear doing the yard and things of that nature, so they're comfortable. I can't help it. If you're going to be up on stage, you want to be comfortable, and this is comfortable. So, all right, so tell you a little bit more about my history here a little bit. When I first started out in pen testing, I just came out of college. I'd done an internship, but then when I went to the company that provided me the opportunity to take that internship to a full-time job, I arrived and they told me that that position no longer existed because that office no longer existed. This is a rather large organization, 50,000 employee sort of thing. And they said, well, you have basically 1 week. You can sit here in the human resources until you find a new office, at which point you either go to that office or you tender your resignation, basically, because you don't have an office then. So I had to quickly scan around, and I found an office that offered pen testing. I'm like, hey, that's great. I've never done that before. And I went straight into it. At this point, my entire college career and all that was coding, development. I was a computer science major. So I went into pen testing. First thing I did is I went into the office, said hi to everybody, meet and greet. They said, that's your desk right there. That big stack of old Ultra 5s, Ultra 1s, Spark books, all that. It was a Unix shop. A whole stack of that. That's going to be your lab. Build a lab. Yep, that was my introduction. They're like, okay. So I set to work. First week or so, I built my lab up, figured out what I was doing. learning the sysadmin aspect of it, building up the network, and then they handed me their document talking about here's the kind of techniques we do, tools we do, and play around with it. I did this for another week or so, and then they started having me work in tandem with other coworkers, doing pen tests. It was all fun and dandy. Until the first time they told me, you know what, you're going to be working on an engagement by yourself. Well, me and another new person was going to work on an engagement together. That's great. Get to show how awesome I am. And, well, it was great. It was an external engagement. I decided to kick off an in-map scan on their target space. This was a Friday, like at 4 o'clock. Wasn't paying attention. Keep in mind, this was around like 1999, 2000 era. So I kicked off the scan. We went home. About 5 in the morning, the next morning, I get a call from my boss. He's asking me, why are we scanning XYZ car manufacturer? I don't know. Why are we? Apparently, my in-map scan was scanning a wrong octet somewhere. Did not know why. Ran into the office, stopped all the scans, and started doing a little triage trying to figure out what had happened. This is purely due to me not understanding the tools I was using because I was new and all that. Well, at this time, in-map had this great capability of it wanted to help you out if it thought that you had an issue with your command line, things of that nature to a certain degree. Well, this was a result of the customer had given us a massive long list of IP ranges, IPs to target, and either it didn't have it or I wasn't aware if it had the input list feature at the time. So it was all in the command line. It was like 4,000 character long command line. And Unix decided to truncate at some point through there. And it truncated that last octet to, instead of being like 237 dot whatever, just to .2. Nmap sees this and says, oh, you left off the rest of that. Let me fill that in for you. Filled it in as a /24 for me. That is not my target. So, I mean, it's just one of these. That was an easy one. Didn't really do anything. Wasn't being malicious. Just doing a scan. Just so happens that, like I said, turn of the century there was actually a customer out there that was actually monitoring if they were being port scanned for some reason. Great for them, but we got a call from them asking why we were scanning them. Come to find out this was the case. Talked to them. End of the story was the auto manufacturer got back to us and said, we understand the mistake. It was all an accident. By the way, did you find anything? We're like, no, we weren't that far along in the scanning, but thank you for asking. But yeah, so I think they ended up contacting them later to figure out if they wanted to have an engagement done or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I was very new. I thought I knew what was going on, and I still made a mistake because both things is I didn't understand the tool, and I didn't understand the operating system as well as I did as to the fact that it was going to truncate it. But yeah, those kind of issues happen more times than you want to admit. Not necessarily that one, but these kind of just dumb little mistakes. We all make them. I've made them a lot. I know. Speaking of not understanding a tool, there was this other scenario. Oh, by the way, the slides really have nothing to do with what I'm talking about other than it talks about failures and mistakes. So, a while back, there was a tool came out, I don't know, a couple years back called Cisco Smart Install Tool. Yeah, Smart Install Exploit Tool, SIET. Great tool, love it, worked very well. You point it at a Cisco device, it connects in, it manipulates it to say, allow me to download your config, things of that nature. There's a lot of other features in there too. You can have it upload a new config, delete a config, download a config, test whether this tool will work against it. A number of different features in there. Well, we were going to be using this just to download the config and see what was in there. It downloads the running config. Got on a customer site, we grabbed the tool, we ran it against, I don't know, a good half dozen of their core routers there to download it just to see what they had. Downloads it, not a problem. We have the running config in front of us. We pull out the passwords or the hashes, crack them. All's good. We go home. sometime the next week, the customer calls us in a panic saying, "What did you do to our routers?" I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" "Their configs are missing." We didn't do it. Well, come to find out, well, the thing is, well, he said, "Well, I don't believe we did that. But by the way, we do have copies of your old running configs here if you'd like to have those." We provide that back, and everybody is disgruntled but happy. And in further review, we kept looking into it. The version of SIET that we were using had been reported as having a serious flaw in it. In that, when it would download the running config, it would delete the running config. This had been reported a good couple weeks prior to that engagement on their GitHub page. We didn't go out and read that GitHub page. We did not go out and see if there was any known flaws. We didn't try to make sure that the tool we were running was safe at that point. We assumed it was. And because of that, we almost got in some rather serious trouble because of that. It's one of those things that we take for granted certain tools are going to be safe when we run them. There's always that possibility that something has changed since the last time you ran it, and now that something bad has been introduced or somebody's discovered some new flaw in it. And because of that, you should probably always go out and make sure the tools that you're running are safe. Make sure you try them out in all different scenarios in a lab, something like that. Obviously, we didn't, and I know as a general rule, not everybody does that anyway, but this is a case that it almost really bit me hard. But luckily, we did have a copy of the running config. Oh yeah, we managed to break into a bank. Break into a company, see all kind of findings, and it'd be the wrong place. So we got out, went to the right place, still broke in, not a problem. It was happy there. Handed all the information off to project managers, and I don't know if they ever actually called up that first company and got them scheduled for a pen test or not, but I'll leave that up to them. I don't remember. Similar scenario. Go into a shared facility. There's a bank on this side, a credit financial institution on the one side. There's something over on the left, and right in the middle there was some sort of engineering company, geology, engineering, all that. Well, trying to sneak in, trying to carry a box, pick a box, standard technique, walk along, act like you're carrying something. They'll open the door for you. Not paying attention. I picked it up, walked in, went up the staircase, following somebody, walked right through the door, turned around, walked a good ways into the building, into the room, set it down, turned around. This was not a financial institution. This was the engineering office, not the customer. So there again, I just walked into the wrong place. Not a big issue. Turn, say, I'm sorry, walk back out. Next year, we had the same contract again, different consultant did the exact same thing. He's like, you won't believe what happened to me. I'm like, yeah, I did that last year. I'm like, how do we both do that same stupid thing year after year? But still, last one on the physical. I locked myself out of a building I just broke into. So spent the time scoping out a building. It's a big, complex building. We get our way in, multiple different techniques ultimately. But right now, we came in through like a ladder, got into the building. We're in there, we're walking around, we have our bag of tricks with us. We find a little communications closet. We go in there, set our gear down, hook it up. And right beside of it, there's a door that goes out. We assume it's a smoker's door. You go out, smoke, whatever. So me and my colleague were there. We're like, all right, yeah, let's go and see what's out there. Okay. And so see if we can get back in that way. I open the door, I walk out. Then I hear a click. And there's my coworker standing beside me. Look at the door. There's no handle. Yeah, we're just shut ourselves outside of the building we just broken into, and now we don't have our gear with us. So we had to find another way back into the building, go get our gear, and continue the engagement. That was a fun one, just to tell the guys back in the office, but luckily for us, that particular location, we found like 6 different ways into the building without ever getting detected, including walking into their credit union, which was attached to the building, waving at the guard, walking by, opening another door, and walking right into the building. But it was the weirdest thing. Yes?
So that door was not you accidentally tripping the fire alarm?
No. Yeah, that would be a fun one, but no, I've never actually tripped a fire alarm before, but to my knowledge, I have not. But yes, so there's all kind of stupid things like that have happened over the years. Let's see here. What is another fun one? This is one that happened, I don't know, many, many years ago. I was working for a company that had a tendency to sell 8-hour web app assessments. Yep, 8-hour web assessments. I don't know why they decided to sell 8-hour web app assessments, but they did. And me and actually a coworker of mine who was not doing much at the time were tasked with doing that engagement. So we're sitting there all day long, we're hacking away, and we find what we think to be blind remote code execution. So we're trying it. We're pretty sure this is executing because you could do like this, like sleep commands, stuff like that, or you could do things that take time on the back end, and it would take the appropriate amount of time, but we couldn't ever figure out how to get data back out of there. Nothing was coming back to screen. We couldn't tunnel command back out. We'd been working on this all day long. We had a very short break, a lunch break, vending machine. It was getting up to like 6 o'clock in the evening. We're both tired. And we're sitting there scratching our head like, how in the world can we get in here? We had working external interface going in where we could issue commands, but we couldn't see any of the results. We're pretty sure we were executing commands. He's like, so in walks the intern. Yeah, keep in mind, me and the other guys, both seniors here, in walks the intern. He's like, oh, what's going on, guys? And we tell him the scenario. We're both tired. We're both upset. all this, cranky. And he's like, well, is it a Windows box? Yeah, we're pretty sure it's a Windows box on the back end. He goes, well, you know, if you enable the Windows firewall, it has great logging and tells you why it's blocking certain things or if it's actually getting to it. We're like, all right. Issue command, start Windows firewall. No commands work anymore. We pack up, we go home, tell them they're fine. No. I mean, it's one of those things that we were tired. We didn't give it a second thought. And just another lesson learned. If you have a remote access from a Windows box, don't enable the firewall. It should have been enabled to begin with, mind you, but still, it's just one of those things. We were tired. At that point, as soon as we hit the enter key, we're like, yeah, we just effed up, didn't we? Yep. Let's double check and see if we can still do anything. Nope. All right. Well, that's it. Let's go home. It's fun, dumb stuff. What's that?
Get paid for fixing the problem?
No. We did tell them there was an issue. Something happened during the engagement. We lost the connectivity to it and went onward from there. And they were just like, okay, we paid you for 8 hours. Done. Check mark done. Yay. They don't care. That one didn't in particular, so. Another intern-based one here. We're doing a social engineering exercise. Customer gave us 2 lists of names, like here's 100 names, here's 100 names. We want you to do 2 different exercises against them. Go and see what you can do. Phishing exercise, remote shell, whatever you want to do out of it. So we're going to do phishing exercise. I was too busy to be worried about it, honestly, so I'm like, hey, Mr. Intern, you've been doing a few social engineering phishing exercises, haven't you? Yeah? All right, fine. Here, how about you go set this up for me? Okay. So went off and did it. I'm writing a report or something, not paying attention. He comes back to me, hey, it's all set up, we're ready to go. I'm like, all right, let's go. Look, okay. Send. Waiting. A few minutes go by, no hits, nothing coming back on the logs. A few minutes later, we see like 1 hit come back, not much. We wait a couple hours, we see like 3 hits come back. We're like, that is not right. We should see a lot more than that. What's going on? We let it play out a little bit. Finally, we stop it. We're like, okay, that's enough for round 1. We have another round. We'll look at it in a minute. Let's figure out what's going on here. And we start looking into what was going on. I did tell the intern to go set up the email, set up the web server. He did that because he had done one the week prior for a different customer. And he used the exact same one for this one. Same website, same email template, wrong logos, wrong customer name, wrong everything. Yeah. So we're like, okay, well, fine. We'll fix that. So we go in and we tweak everything, we change it, make sure it's all right, it's all good to go. Hey, okay, intern, are you sure you got it all right? Let me see the website. Okay, that's, all right, let me see your email. Okay, that's right, okay, let's go ahead and send it out. We send it out. Nothing this time. No hits. We forgot to start the web server. We still write the report. All right. Second round, one group, no hits. Second group, we got like 5 hits total out of the 100. And what you should be aware of here, Mr. Customer, is that those 5 people clicked on a link that had the wrong company name, wrong email, wrong logos, everything. Those guys need to be taught a lesson. No, I'm kidding. No, we did do something like that. Like, we had to find the silver lining somewhere in there. So we did tweak it a little bit and say, like, look, these individuals, you had 5 individuals who would click on the link, provide credentials to a website that is obviously not branded as yours and so forth. So tried to save a little face on there, but yeah, that was just a bad ordeal altogether. And I fully take fault on that one for delegating everything to the intern, even though I didn't make him buy me lunch afterwards. Oh yeah, this was a fun one. So, external assessments. Doing external scans, come across some web apps. All right, this is supposed to have been for, I don't know, medical firm, legal firm, something like that. Can't remember offhand. So we're doing external scan. We find some web cameras, IP-based cameras. All right. Do a little searching. Oh, this is the default creds. Let's try it. Hey, look, we get in. We're sitting here. We'd been hacking away at the external computers for a while, and we're not long, maybe an hour or so. We're going after it, We get up the web cameras. We get into them. We start panning them around, looking at them. That looks like a cafeteria. Okay. That looks like some sort of classroom. Okay. That looks like a playground. This is a school. Let's check the IPs again. No, that's what the customer gave us. Let's do who is on it, something like that. Yeah, no, that belongs to some school district. Hey, Mr. Customer, what's going on here? Oh, we left off the 1 on that IP range there. Thank you. You can blame the customer on that if you wish, or you can blame us for not validating the IP ranges they gave us. If you're doing an external, 1, double check that the IPs that you're entering into your command are accurate. 2, do a simple who is, something like that. Make sure it makes sense. Load up the web page that, if there's a web page on one, load it up. Make sure it looks like your customer before you accidentally hack somebody that doesn't want to be hacked. Now, for a case of web cameras with somebody who wanted to be hacked, but we did something wrong with it. So, this was a university, a large school. External, find a web camera, just through the port scans, all that. Version, default credentials, log in. It's looking at some parking lot, something like that, out the window. We notice it has pan and tilt options and zoom. We start panning around. So you pan it to the left. Hey, look, there's a whiteboard, and it zooms back to home. We're like, that's kind of weird. We pan it across and look down. Oh, look, there's a desk, and it goes back to home. We do this several times trying to figure out what's going on. Because every time we pan it away, it goes right back to where it was. So we look it up, we do Google or whatever, look it up. Does this have like an auto home feature that we're not aware of? No, it doesn't have that. So we wait a little while, wait until like lunchtime. We're eating our lunch there and we try it, we pan over. This time it doesn't auto home, but we see a whiteboard there. We zoom in, we see what looks like passwords and IP addresses and email addresses and all kind of network diagrams, all kind of awesome stuff. We go down to the desk, same sort of stuff, letterheads and sensitive information. Then finally it pans back home and then there's somebody looking in it. We're like, disconnect. We call up the point of contact later and we're like, hey, yeah, we found this web camera and it was doing this. He goes, oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about. That's the one that has a live feed to our website, to our front page of our website showing the weather on campus. Whose office is that in? Oh, that's our head of IT. Do you think head of IT has sensitive information on his whiteboard and his desk? Yeah? Oh, you might want to change those passwords. Sorry. So, if you see a web camera on the internet, odds are it's probably got a live feed to somewhere. And if that live feed is to somewhere that a lot of people see on a homepage of some website, you probably don't want to be showing sensitive information across that web feed. Just saying. Just kind of one of those funny things. Hey, they were happy that we found it and that it was in his room, so I think they ended up moving that camera somewhere else ultimately, but yeah. Oh, by the way, the auto home he was sitting in the office, and every time he saw me, he was like, what's going on? Just moving it back. So, I know, what is that? What time is it? So, I'm going to go ahead and go through these last few, and then I'll open it up for just back and forth dialogue. I got plenty of other stories. These are just the ones I'd queued up for the talk. I got plenty of others. I'll ask for any input from you all as to other stories as well. But as we're going through here, the main things over my career that will save you from making horrible, embarrassing, possibly costing your job experience mistakes is, when somebody gives you something or you copy something from a file, whatever, double check it. Do a in-head checksum sort of thing, like, does that IP copy over here? Did I drop off a digit off of it when I copied it over? Did the customer give me a right IP? What he provided me, is that it? Just go through, double check everything looks right. Make sure there. And it's just a general rule for life, I guess, is if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. It's probably, in real life, it's probably a scam. In pen testing, it's just, you've probably made a mistake somewhere. Go back, figure out what you did before it cost you something more serious. Never rely on just one access vector. If there's two of you in a building and one of you walks out a locked door, don't have the other one walk out as well. It's painful. If you have remote access to a system, before you do something that may jeopardize that access, have a secondary access, something that will call out later, reset, whatever. Always have a second method before you do something to jeopardize your first method, basically. And if you're using some tool that you just downloaded off the internet or off of what have you without testing it out, it's on you. I'm sorry. Understand the tool you're using. Understand what it does. If it has source code, try to read over it. If it's something short, that's easy. Something longer, see if other people have done reviews of it. See what they've written up. See if it has a errata page or something like that where you can go and see what other issues of people have found with it, issue page, something like that. And just try to get a feel for it before you use it live on a customer and delete all their configs. So it's one of those. Now, for the moral of the story, it's okay to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. As you can just see the tip of the iceberg with what I've been talking about here, I've made plenty over my career, and I'm still doing my job. So I haven't been fired. I haven't lost my job because of these kind of mistakes. It just comes with the territory. Most people don't like to share that they've made a mistake, something like that, but you need to understand that other people do make mistakes as well. It's part of learning. Somebody once told me that you learn more from making mistakes than you do from having a success, because there you only learn that one aspect of it. So, but yeah, it's get out there, try something. If you fail, fine. You can usually recover. Learn from your mistake, move forward. If it's something that you think others can learn from too, get up on stage, talk about it, let other people have a good laugh at you. It's just one of those things. It's part of your career, part of your life. Go out, try things, and learn from it. Hopefully you don't make the same mistake twice. That's sort of key there. So that's lack of being more elegant about it. That's the gist of the story is it's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them. So with that going on, I have any questions. I'm open for additional stories if people have requests for certain stories. So, yeah, somebody over there. Oh, yeah, no. Never blindly trust an intern on anything. They will stab you in the back. No, they will cost you your job. No. So if anybody has any other questions, comments, requests for stories, I'm here for a few minutes. If you want to talk to me afterwards, I'm happy to sit down, talk with anybody.
Hi folks, Iron Geek here. Unfortunately, we had a freeze up of the live capture, so we have no audio or speaker up until about the 18-minute, 32-second mark. Sorry for the inconvenience.